Good afternoon, and welcome to San Diego Mesa College. We are thrilled to host this press conference today and are happy to be asked by Congressman Peters to be here today to hear about an incredibly important issue to the students of really all of our students in terms of community college students and university students, but we can talk to you about the impact that it has certainly at Mesa College. So without further ado, let me introduce one person that's here today, which is our trustee, San Diego Community College District, Bernie Reinison. And so now, without further ado, Congressman Peters.
Thanks, Pam. And I'm pleased to be joined by two of my colleagues, Congressman Juan Vargas, who represents the District of the South, and the senior member, I hate to, it's true, the longest-serving member of our delegation, Susan Davis. And Susan, I think you used to represent this district before the redistricting, so it's a pleasure to be here. And I'm joined by leaders from our community college district, Mesa College, and some local college students who I'd like to introduce. I have this here. So we have Madeline Hinkes, Academic Senate President. Over there. Should be up here, man. Incoming Associated Students Government President here at Mesa is Jay Walker. Jay, thanks for being here. In addition to Bernie, we also have Bonnie Dowd, the Executive Vice Chancellor, and from the Community College District. From UC San Diego, Andy Busselt, who's the president of the UCSD Associated Students, and Kyle Heskela from UCSD Associated Students. I want to thank you all for being here to talk about an important issue. In a nation built on the premise that everyone deserves an opportunity to pursue the American dream, it is absolutely wrong that students would bear the burden of congressional inaction, but that's what's about to happen. I speak to you as someone whose own career and education was built on financial aid. I got grants, I got student loans to let a middle-class kid get an education, the kind of opportunity that lets us all get ahead here in the United States of America. But now we're facing the consequences to these kids of a Congress that's putting politics in front of people. At a time when America is faced with a slow economy and when our success as a nation in the 21st century depends on our ability to educate our kids so that we can compete, it is more important than ever to ensure that Congress remains affordable for all young people. And so we face this prospect that if we do nothing by July 1st, that the student loan rate will double from its current 3.4% to 6.8%, and that is unacceptable. Congressman Vargas and Davis and I have all signed a petition that would force Speaker Boehner to bring the Student Loan Relief Act to the floor of the House. That would just very simply freeze that level for 2 more years so we can deal comprehensively with college affordability. Everything from providing the right amount of grants, providing the right loan terms, to making sure that we slow down the increases in college costs. All of those things we have to do, but what we don't want to have happen on July 1st is to have that student loan rate double at a time when the burden of student loans is already very, very difficult for a lot of kids, and is also discouraging them from getting that education that we know that they need to help our country compete in the next century. Thus far, the Speaker has not agreed to put that on the floor before us, or President Obama's compromise position that would tie rates to the market but limit the amount of fluctuation so that parents and kids would have a chance to plan. Dozens of other members have signed the petition, but we've not yet have enough signatures to force the vote. So what we're urging today is that we want our colleagues to add their names to this petition, to raise their voice in support of keeping student loan rates from doubling on July 1st. And we're calling on everyone out there in the community to make sure that you let your representatives know that this is not acceptable. This is not something that you want to have happen. That you understand the value of education in our society to our competitiveness in the 21st century. And tell those representatives to support keeping student loan rates from doubling on July 1st. I want to say again, this is something that's important to me personally as someone who's benefited so much from the opportunity that America gave to me. I would not be here before you if it wasn't for the opportunity that I got from student loans, from financial aid. I want to make sure that every kid gets that same opportunity that I got so that we can continue to lift each other up, create a middle class for people that gives them a chance to educate their own kids and provide for their family and for a decent retirement. This is critical to that end, and so I appreciate you all being here today. I'll turn it over to my colleagues, beginning with Congressman Juan Vargas.
Well, thank you very much. I want to thank Scott. He's been the leader on this issue, and I want to thank you. He's been putting a lot of pressure on all of us to make sure that we keep this right in the front, and I appreciate that we've had the opportunity to talk to some students here. The students, a couple of them have said it's really hard for them now that they've graduated, and one of them can't go on to graduate school, and we all know this. If you don't have a good education in this new economy, you're just not going to make it. Unfortunately, that's the case. And so we tell all these young people, go to school, get an education. But we can't pay for it like we used to. Now you got to take out loans. But okay, don't worry, because the loan rates are going to be low. Then they do that, and what do? We double the damn rate. And why do we do that? To give tax breaks to the rich. That's not right. And that's why we're here saying that's not right. We got to stop that. And the right thing to do right now is to keep the rate at 3.4%. That's the right thing to do. Just think of all of you that have a car loan. You know, you can't buy a car in cash. You go out there and you get your car loan. Next thing you know, they want to double that rate. Hell, how could you afford that? You can't afford that. And that's why I want to thank Scott Peters for putting this in front of us. And we're going to work with you, Scott, again, so you can continue to put pressure on the Speaker to do the right thing, to bring it forward so we can vote on it and keep it at 3.4, because we want these young people over here to get a good education that they can afford. And right now they can't afford it if we're doubling the cost. Thank you.
Hi, everybody, and actually I'm anxious to hear from our students because they're the ones that we're trying to help. You know, it's not possible for us to control everything about college costs, but this is one thing that we can control. We have the opportunity here. If we can make this decision by July 1, before the rates are going to go up, then we can make certain that this piece of it for students is there, and it does make things more affordable. You know, one of the things we know is that students really need this break. We don't. The government doesn't. Do you know that the way that we have funded student rates in the past, the federal government has actually raked in $15 billion in profit on student loans. So that actually makes us more profitable than ExxonMobil. Is that what we want? I don't think that's where we want to put the effort. I know that when I went to school, I knew that the university, that the state of California was investing in me as a student, because I know that I was actually paying very, very low tuition. Students can't say that today. That has shifted. We may not be able to change that, but this we can change. And when we have that opportunity, then we certainly need to do that. We know that if we double the rates on middle-class kids, it can make the difference between whether they're able to go on and whether their parents, because parents take out loans also, are going to see the rates change pretty dramatically. And that's a problem. Parent plus loans, we don't want that to happen. It's such a simple solution. Move forward, Congress. Work together. We can do this. We're better than this. You know, we need to be able to make this statement. It's very, very important that Speaker Boehner listen to that and moves forward. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Susan and Juan. Now we'd like to hear from one of the students who may be affected by this, and Jay has agreed to address us. Jay Walker.
Hello, I'm Jay Walker. I was just elected student body president at Mesa College. You know, while going through this campaign, I met a lot of students who lived in their cars or lived on their friend's couch, and I couldn't imagine the effect this would have on them, 6.8%. You know, we've seen this last summer, and we got on Twitter, we got on Facebook, and hopefully we can make the same effort this year. If it goes up to 6.8%, students like myself will be affected. I benefit from financial aid, and it will affect me tremendously. I can't tell you, 50% of my income comes from financial aid and able to be here and buy books and be successful in class. And so if this does take effect on July 1st, it's very tremendous and it's devastating. Students, we don't want handouts, we want hand-ups, and this definitely isn't that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. And you can see how we don't want to cripple future leaders like these folks. We want to empower them. We want to raise them up. We want to educate them so that they can be the next generation of leaders here. And I'm excited about what they offer. We need to stand behind them. So with that, we're concluded. We're available for questions or one-on-ones if you'd like. But again, thanks to Susan and Juan for coming out, and for Bernie and for Pam. This is a very important issue, and thanks for helping us raise up. Let's just ask Speaker Boehner to let us have the chance to vote on extending this loan rate of 3.4% for 2 more years so that student loan rates don't double on July 1st. Thank you all for coming.
The Student Loan Relief Act is tremendously important. You know, here at Mesa College, students rely on students rely on financial aid. They rely on these decisions that are made in Washington. We need to tell House leadership what's going on. These are real students with real life stories. It is tremendously important, and we have so much on the line with this. 6.8% is not okay, and we need to really get out there and support Scott Peters' bill. I'm asking you today to make a difference. Thank you.